All right, folks, we'll get things kicked off here as I'm sure other folks will keep trickling in. But thank you. Appreciate everybody for taking the time to join today's webinar. I'm Tom Candelaria, Sales Director here at KELYN Technologies. We also have Nick.
How's it going, guys? So, Tom,
And
how you
as
doing
as
today, man?
the title of the webinar suggested, we're here to talk about migrating from VMware to other technologies like AWS EC2 and some of the ramifications of the VMware Broadcom acquisition. So who are we, first and foremost? We're KELYN Technologies. We are a value-added solutions partner focused specifically on backup and recovery and data protection. We've been doing this for a while, since 2012. Our founder and CEO, Kevin Cronin, is actually a former engineer from Symantec and Commvault, and working in this industry himself. He recognized that there was oftentimes a gap in these technologies that can become pretty complex and touch a lot of things in the data center. And there's this gap between having a tool that was efficiently used, configured, implemented, and customers needed some additional help. So he started KELYN Technologies. We started first as doing a lot of professional services for customers who had Commvault environments. And over time, we morphed from a services provider to a managed services provider, actually doing the work for people. And now we actually have our own platform, which is underpinned by Commvault, called Data Store. We do a lot of work in all sectors: commercial, enterprise, federal, and state government. We're responsible now for over 100 com cells, which are unique Commvault environments, 40 petabytes of data, and over 30,000 servers. So what are we talking about today? We'll talk a little bit about that Broadcom acquisition, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, kind of our approach in helping customers migrate workloads and have what we call workload portability. We'll actually show you a demo as well, talk a little bit about KELYN and how we can help, and we should have some time for some Q&A. So, sure most of you know, in case you've been under a rock for some time, maybe just woke up from cryo sleep recently. Last November, Broadcom finalized their acquisition of VMware for $69 billion. A lot has come since that acquisition has gone through. Obviously, that's a lot of money. Broadcom needs to make that money up. What have we seen? Some concerns from customers, biggest of those being price increases. We have seen some customers have renewal quotes come in for their VMware environments that are up to 40 times what they were the prior year before. So understandably, some concerns have arisen.
Hey, Tom, real quick, man.
Yep.
I got a joke for you. How many VMware admins does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know, Nick. How many VMware admins does it take to change a light bulb?
Just one, but that light bulb's going to cost you 5,000. Sorry, I had to break it up a little bit.
Thank you, Nick. Make sure that was recorded.
I get paid by the jokes, people, so that's a bonus right there.
Yeah, if anybody's hiring, let us know, because Nick needs more work. So of course we talked about price concerns. If you haven't already seen, a largely increased renewal come over from VMware, you might soon. That's probably first and foremost. Support and service quality, though, there's concern that the Broadcom acquisition Broadcom might cut costs, of course, with the expensive acquisition by doing things like reducing customer support and services. VMware has a really strong reputation for its customer service. and technical support, and really any degradation in this area could negatively impact a lot of very large, very important customers. Customers fear that Broadcom's focus on profitability might stifle innovation, worry that Broadcom might prioritize immediate financial returns over long-term technological advancement, and really product development. Integration compatibility is an issue. I won't read off all of these for you guys. Really strategic focus as well, as being part of a much larger portfolio. Vendor lock-in, what happens if we can't get off of this platform? If we go to another platform, are we going to be locked in there? Corporate culture clashing between VMware, which has always had historically a very strong corporate culture, and the Broadcom culture that it's being absorbed into. So yeah, across the board, several reasons that customers are trying to look at ways to migrate and look at new platforms. So we get to our approach. Nick, how do we tackle this?
So guys, there's a lot of different ways to tackle this. We have, live conversion, continuous replication, cloud-based deployment, comprehensive workload migration. So what's nice about KELYN is if you go to another product, whatever, you're going to, they'll sell you the product, but then the service is not there. So what happens is we holistically help you guys, set you up for success. We've been doing this. We have engineers that are doing this, time and time again. We have cloud engineers, we have VMware engineers, and we can kind of help you do the migration. There's a lot of different approaches we can do, as far as, the different migration types. If we want to replicate stuff, we want to, do most optimal savings. And what happens is, if you guys are looking at cloud, if this is your first cloud experience, cloud's a different beast. We're able to go in and help you set up, through CloudFormation templates, make sure everything's, locked down, and the most cost optimizable environment we'll set up for you guys. So that's kind of our approach. Go to the next slide, Tom. So this is kind of just a high level VMware to AWS conversion. If you guys are kind of more interested in it, you can, hit us up and we can kind of, take a deeper dive. But basically what we can do is we can deploy an on-site proxy. Those proxies we have custom scripts where we can go into VMware, add the permissions. The proxy takes a snapshot. What's different about us is we can actually integrate with your hardware provider. So we can actually take a hardware level snapshot of a VM. So that way, your actual VM itself, anything like that is not impacted. We mount that snapshot up, and using deduplication, automatic encryption tunnels, and then we wrap that around ransomware immutability. We drop that into a low cost EC2 bucket. And then what we do is we actually take that and we use an STS role and we do EBS direct write. So that's something that Amazon can't even do themselves when they do the conversions. So we actually take that, we take the VM, it has a life cycle, it drops it down to an EC2 instance, and then we can power it up. And then what's nice is you have that instance up, so that way the night of a failover, you're not seeding that data. It's pretty much 90%, 95% of that. And I'm just going into the same console that I've used before to do all this setup, to do the migration. The migration happens, it takes a snapshot, powers off the VM, and then replays those deltas and powers up your EC2 instance automatically in a single console. So, it's pretty powerful. And then, like I said, with the help of KELYN, we're able to, set up like the correct permissions for VMware, set up the correct proxy size, with CloudFormation templates, spin up your entire infrastructure in a matter of 30 minutes. So it's really the easy button. And we're not gonna sell you $50,000 of PS to do that. So our service and support are included with our license. So that's one thing, I don't know if you mentioned that, Tom, but that's one thing that we pride ourselves on, to say, hey, this is a migration project. You go to another company, they might charge you 50, 100K just to do these type of services that are included with us.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of me. You're spoiling all the fun for later.
I'm becoming the sales guy now. Sorry.
You want me to
We'll
move
go to the
forward to
next
this
slide.
one?
So guys, this slide, if you guys want to take a screenshot of it real quick, so this is a difference between AWS and data store. So with AWS, they have the ability to integrate with VMware. They can take a snapshot. They can mount that snapshot up. It can replicate to a powered on EC2 instance. You can test in a closed VPC. So it's all you have to understand cloud and know cloud, like workloads, and be able to navigate your way into the AWS console. And then basically it cuts over a new EC2 instance. So typically, if you talk to an AWS rep, they're probably not going to lead with the snapshot process, just because there's no data deduplication. You're going to have to set up your own encrypted tunnels, and you're going to have to transfer that data payload over block by block. So it's a pretty heavy uplift. And then the night of the cutover, you have to still replicate those blocks. Well, what happens is that snapshot sit on that VM for a while. It, when you remove the snapshot, if that snapshot's been sitting on that VM for, a day because of replication, removing that snapshot causes lots of overhead, and you might see stuff on your production host, stuff like that that's going down. So a lot of times when you talk with AWS, they're gonna lead with an agent-based approach. So basically, there's an agent on-prem and there's an agent in the EC2 instance, and it does kind of a replication. So that's more of like their tighter replication. Again, you're gonna have to install an agent. There's no data deduplication. We're transferring data blocks up there. It's a good process. It works. It's tried and true. But I'll kind of tell you a little bit what we're a little different of. So with data store, we can do agentless VMs. So that's what we're gonna promote. We can go to the storage array. So we can take your hardware snapshots. We deploy a couple proxies on-prem, and then basically we can communicate with your storage array, perform the storage array snapshots, so that way your production VMs aren't impacted. Between the host that's on the proxy on site and then the data mover that's up in cloud, we're going to use an encrypted data deduplicated tunnel. So there's nothing, it's all software based. So there's nothing, you don't have to get with your network guy and say, hey, I need to run encryption. It's all our packets are encrypted. And then it's wrapped around a ransomware immutability. So that way, if you guys do get hit, around that time, it's protected under a ransomware wrapper as well. So we're able to take the array-based snapshots, we mount those up to the proxy that communicates to our data movers up in EC2 instance, and then we store those data blocks inside of an S3 bucket, so infrequent access bucket. And then the time of migration, what you can do is you can pre-stage your VMs. So you pre-stage it, and I'll kind of walk all through that. I'll kind of show you guys the console. You pre-stage your VMs, it builds out the EC2 instances. It's replaying the deltas, so you can do it if you want to do, once a day, or if you want to say, hey, I need to get, tighter replications, we can change your RPO, and we can actually go down to the block layer with some VIO drivers for ESX hosts. And then basically, the night of the cutover, you have 95, 98% of your data. You're just cutting over in a simple console that's not, something cloud. It's, I think my 3-year-old could come in and fail over some VMs inside here, and we'll show you that. And what's nice, you can test, and then if for whatever reason you fail over and then you need to fail back, that's available in the same console as well. So, pretty straightforward. And then what's nice too is that if you guys are going to cloud, you're new to cloud. Okay, so now now I have this EC2 instance up in cloud. Well, how do I protect it? Well, in AWS, now I got to go to a different console. I have to deliver snapshots, which are not really data protection, and I have to kind of figure out how to do that. That's a separate cost. That's a separate console. Um, with us, we can still use the same deduplication database, the same bucket, same gear, all that same stuff that we procured through that cloud formation template, and we add a tag on that EC2 instance during the process, and you're automatically backing up. Again, backing up using data deduplication, that's a solid backup where we can actually take your data and, put it to another region as well, deduplicated. And then we're throwing ransomware package on top of that. So there's more immutability options in there. So that's another thing to kind of think about too, is that, hey, after the migration, what are some of these tasks I need to do? Throwing a tag on there, it automatically adds, data protection around there with us as well. And that's something that, we can help you guys set up.
And I think the biggest differentiator between us and AWS native tools for migrations, AWS is going to get you up to AWS, but that's it. I had one customer who asked, like, yeah, sure, VMware has jacked up my renewal bill, and I'm sure I'm going to move over to, name another platform, and then they're just going to do the same thing because now they know they've got me. And what do I do then? The best part about data store in this solution is, yes, we can help you get to Amazon EC2, AWS EC2, but there are a lot of other options as well. We can, migrate or replicate from an on-prem VMware environment up to Amazon AWS EC2. We could replicate to Hyper-V. We can go from EC2 to Hyper-V to Red Hat. It allows what we call true workload portability because you guys would not be locked in with this platform. We can get you either migrated to essentially any hypervisor or do replication across hypervisors from disparate hypervisors. So that of course is the big thing, what other solutions going to get you to any platform
Yeah, that was a good
if
point,
requirements
Tom.
change down the road.
They don't get locked in. So I mean, if you guys migrate to AWS and AWS gets acquired by Broadcom, then we'll migrate to Azure. And then if you need to migrate to Azure back to VMware, it's the same console. So that was a really good point.
Yeah, so you want to show them the product, Nick?
Sure.
Okay,
Let's see.
stop sharing. Yeah, I can show you guys how easy this is to do. A couple clicks.
So you guys able to see my console?
Yep.
Cool. So this is my command center right here. So I created a nice dashboard. Having a lot of fun with this, me being inside my console is the first time. So basically, create customized dashboards. It's all HTML5 based. This is my auto recovery dashboard. So, it kind of shows, I just have one VM that's going up right now, but it shows that I can have if I have my environment, if I do file servers, Oracle, anything that needs attention, things that are in sync, things that are not in sync, my largest hypervisors, there's different things you can add to this console, or to the dashboard, which is simple. You can kind of come in and say, hey, are we ready for our deployment this morning? Yeah, let me go in real quick. All right, hey, our SLA is at 100%. We're good. We've already tested it. We validated. So it's as simple as you add the VMware proxies inside here. It's pretty straightforward. We go under auto recovery. We create our targets. So this is our different targets. So one of the things kind of what's nice too is that, we know we kind of haven't talked about it, but if you guys are interested, we can have a side conversation. But we help customers set up clean rooms. So we can set up clean rooms in VMware, AWS, Azure, do all that stuff. And then what's nice is we can actually do cross account inside AWS. So you can have your gear in stored like a management plane. And then if you have multiple accounts that we need to deploy into, we can use IAM roles and cross account. So that way you don't have to have gear inside each, compute inside each of these accounts, and we're able to help you guys set up that way. We have custom JSON scripts where we can use and deploy. It's kind of the easy button. So you come in here, set your target up. So I've set up a target. It's called AWS. So the target is what's going to give you, you're gonna sense, identify your availability zone, volume type, if you're going to use an encryption key, what IAM role you're using, and then it goes down to the network security group and instance type. You're able to kind of, with the instance type, with the I'm sorry, IAM, you can create a custom key in here and basically say, hey, I only want to use these 3 AMIs. It's really not going to use AMI. It's just kind of for reference. You're basically doing the replication up inside from VMware to EC2 instance. So after I create my target, I come in here and I create my replication group. So when I come here, I do add. And what's nice too is that I know you're going to kind of ask me, Tom, hey, you can do more than virtual servers. Yeah, you can do more than virtual servers. If I want to replicate file servers, want to SQL servers, Oracle, SAP, big data, object stores. So let's say you have some SQL servers, you build some EC2 instances, and you just want to migrate the database. Well, again, I can do my VMs and then I can do my SQL migration in here as well. We can basically use the same deduplicated pools, same encrypted tunnels, same ransomware package, migrate that data up into, cloud, or if we have another data center. So go to the virtual machines, click right here. So I click my production hypervisor. So this is something that I've already pre-staged. I add vCenter in here. I don't know if you guys see that many hypervisors. I mean, I think that's pretty much all of them. That are out there. So I pick VMware vCenter, and then what's nice too is that, take a look. I can convert it to Amazon Web Services, Google, Microsoft Azure, Hyper-V, VMware vCenter, and there's actually more. I just have to unlock a key for us to do that as well. So for this demonstration, I'll pick Amazon Web Services, come in here, do next. And then basically you have a couple different ways to do your replication. So most customers are just going to do an orchestrated replication. So it's basically kind of a data protection method where we go in and snapshot your VMs once a day, and then we replay that data. Once that data is done, what's nice is we actually leverage change block tracking. So change block tracking is a functionality of VMware. VMware keeps track of your deltas. And so when we go in there, we're only scanning the deltas, and then we're deduplicating against those deltas. So it's a pretty quick sync up to cloud. You have periodic replication where you can define an RPO if you want a 12-hour RPO, or you want a continuous replication. So those are the servers that, hey, I need to replicate. I need to, it's kind of block based. And so we're going to actually look at the block layer, that approach. And that's something that, we have trained technicians that come in and help you set that up. So for this demonstration, we'll just do an orchestrated replication. So I'm going to create a replication group name. So you could say it like, I'll just call it demo. If you guys want to call it something else, like, Saturday cutover. I picked a production hypervisor that I'm going to use. So this is my vCenter that's already configured. And then basically I add, so I can add my VMware groups. So I pre-stage my VMware groups. I can select on-prem. And then what I do is I say, okay, hey, I'm going to select my on-prem group. A lot of customers, what they'll do is they'll say, hey, they'll create groups that says, rollout 1, rollout 2, rollout 3. And so that way they say, hey, once I do rollout 1, I'll configure that, let it replicate, and then fail over. And then I'll add my rollout 2, rollout 3 groups. We're able to kind of help you guys out with that. And it's pretty simple. We just add tags to VMs and it automatically adds them in there.
Is that how your 3-year-old does it when she does this?
That is how my 3-year-old, she's actually the one that taught me this, Tom. So I was gonna have her join the Zoom, but
I think she's busy.
she's napping right now. She's napping. It's her nap time. So
Yours
so
naps?
naps. Yeah. My nap time too, but I'm doing this webinar just for you, Tom. So I create my replication group. I can pick the different storage. So if I want to, set this up, we're going to write it to a low cost S3 infrequent access bucket using deduplication. These are some of the things that we just kind of, mundane tasks right here. You know, I can select a target. So that AWS target that I was walking you guys through, I just basically say I select my AWS target. And then I'm a kind of do a warm site replication, do next. And then what's nice too is that you guys want to add some pre and pro scripts. So this is optional. So some customers want us to do a postscript where we can remove VMware tools, or maybe there's a I need to join it to the domain, or maybe you have a script like a checkout script that goes in after the EC2 instance runs just to say, hey, I just need to validate this and validate these things. We can add all this stuff in here. And we can help you build out those scripts as well if you guys need to. So that's another powerful tool. So we're just kind of walking through this, the override options. There's nothing really. And then, what's nice too is that we do advanced options. So we validate destination VM. We power it on, power it off. So if we want to unconditionally override a VM, that VM's obviously not going to, the EC2 instance obviously not going to, exist up there. So we can, just basically, select these options if needed. We do next in summary. And so this just kind of shows what we're doing. So basically what happens is, and I'm going to cancel out of here. What happens is you get your replication groups, and then basically based on your RTO, RPO, this is going to replicate. So this is a VM that we have in our data center. Basically it's a Windows VM, and it's doing the EC2 conversion inside AWS. So what we're doing is so you have all this data. It's now replicated, it's encrypted. We got a nice data mutability package in there. This server is actually going to show up inside EC2 in your AWS console as an EC2 instance. But what's different is it's going to be powered off. So a powered off instance is a lot cheaper than a powered on instance. Remember that, Tom. Okay. So a
I never
powered off
forget.
instance is cheaper than a powered on instance. I heard that from a wise man one day. So okay, I got all my data, it's replicated. I know you're gonna ask, Tom, how do I fail over? I'm getting to it, okay? So what's
I
nice
gave you my
is
script.
on my failover, I can come in here, I can select multiple machines. I can failover by group. I can do a test. Let's talk about test failover first. So test failover, what we do is we're going to obviously, you're probably going to connect if you're migrating to cloud, you're going to have a closed off VPC. We're going to lock down your security groups and nothing like that. So the EC2 instances can't talk to your on-prem. We can do a test failover. So test failover, what that does is it puts a timer on the EC2 instance, spins it up, and then spins it down after that timer. So that way you can go on the console, you can log in, you can, validate, hey, it's up, SQL Server looks like it's running, do any type of checkouts that you need. So that's what test failover it is. And then what happens is the night of failover, I hit plan failover. So when I hit plan failover, I'm going to walk through it. So these are the steps. It's going to power it off your production VM. It's going to run an incremental sync, and then it's going to perform the replication, disable the replication. So it's all one-stop shop, and then power on the DR VM. So basically you hit yes, it does all that stuff in the background for you inside a single console. You don't have to, you're not looking into an AWS console. You're not doing that. You can monitor everything in here. Another thing too is that let's say you replicate a VM up there and it's EC2 instance, and it's just, you forgot that there was some type of, connection that was on-prem that needs to, and we need to migrate it back. Well, basically I can come in and I can say, hey, I need to fail back. So I can fail back. We'll take a snapshot, replay that down, do the conversion process, and fail back that VM. Another thing too is that, if you guys are like looking at this product too, I mean, this is also something that kind of replaces like a Zerto like function, and provides that data protection option as well. Unplanned failover. So let's say you guys are in the middle of your migration, and your site goes down. You're like, oh man, we need to fail over right now. I just hit unplanned failover. What it'll do is it won't touch the source VM. It'll just know that that's down. It'll power up your EC2 instances inside AWS. So you're not going inside AWS and going, hey, power on, power on, power on, power on. It's all through a single console. So pretty straightforward, guys. Like I said, with the power of KELYN, we help you set all this stuff up. Custom cloud formation templates. We can we have scripts to automate the VMware permissions. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy process to do. And like I said, we do it low cost. We make sure your VMs are powered off. We use data duplication. We wrap that in ransomware. We leverage encryption, and that's all pre-set up. It's not something you have to work with a network guy, storage admin, anything like that. It's one console, one-stop shop.
Awesome. Folks, keep in mind you can use the Q&A feature at the bottom too if you've got any questions. So make sure none are going unanswered. I know we've got a few in here. Thank you, Nick. Let's see, let's get back over here. We got just under 10 minutes here. So we will do a little bit of wrap up and Q&A here in just a moment. Okay, guys. So Nick has already kind of alluded to some of the things that KELYN can do to help assist in data migration, data protection. What our saying is data anywhere, protected everywhere. And what we like to talk about as KELYN is our secret sauce. And really, I guess an analogy or an anecdote that a lot of folks can relate to is we've got a lot of products out in the marketplace around data protection, backup recovery, ransomware. And a lot of them are just that. They're products, right? The difference between somebody having one of these products and loving it versus somebody doing a rip and replace oftentimes are the people. And that's where our secret sauce comes in. So being able to help implement and configure a solution like this appropriately with a capable engineering team, to be able to go and validate the architecture, to train up the customer's team and ensure that they have the knowledge to take over once we leave, and they're ready to go, to advise them on changes down the road. If there are upgrades they should probably be looking at, if there are any improvements or efficiencies within the actual product that they should be implementing, we can help them with that. And then from a ransomware and malware perspective, cyber resiliency perspective, not just giving you a tool or a product that can help do that, because oftentimes we see, yes, the products are great and they have the capability, but are they actually being implemented correctly? Do you actually have a plan to recover from an outage? What is your plan if if your email servers go down and you don't have a way to contact IT to start recovering systems, mission critical systems? That all that wrapper around the actual product is where KELYN can come in and help. And instead of providing a product, provide a solution and an outcome for our customers.
Hey, Tom, question for you. Is our support all US based?
Our support is all US based, Nick. Great question. So we provide break fix support, and then again, all those other features on top of break fix support, which can be architecture related, upgrading an environment, things that probably normally cost professional services dollars. That's all included with our support. Again, US based, US citizen, US soil. So again, thank you guys. Let me take a look at some of the questions before we wrap here. So what is something like this cost traditionally? It's a great question. Obviously, folks care about cost. The great news is if you guys already have Commvault, this might be something that you already have included in a license bundle. We would need to take a look at that. It might be something you already have out of the box. I know a lot of customers of mine that I used to have when I was at Commvault actually had this solution and didn't know how to actually implement, configure it, and roll it out, or that they even had it. In other cases, it might be a simple add-on license that's just based on the number of machines you want to replicate, whether it's VMs, physical servers, etc. So we can certainly help with that as well. Next question I see is, what does it take what does it take to roll something like this out? Nick, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I'll kind of tell you some, real life experience. We were doing a POC for a big customer for AWS, and they had a major outage during the POC. I was able to get everything spun back up in 30 minutes. So we have, a team of cloud formation guys that, use Terraform, all that good stuff. We can customize the cloud formation template to your screen, or to your environment, sorry. And we run that cloud formation template, spin it up. And again, this is kind of where, if you guys are going in the cloud, you've never been in the cloud, we have cloud experts. We can come in and help you set up everything in kind of the easy button. And then basically, depending on your infrastructure, it's just a lightweight agent that sits in a proxy on-prem, and then they communicate over a couple different ports. So pretty straightforward. I mean, I would say within a matter of, a couple hours, we can get everything set up, start getting the first snapshots rolling. So, and also too, I mean, if you guys are looking for, just not a migration platform, but you guys are also looking for, a data protection platform. I mean, this is the power of KELYN and Commvault with our data store product. We're able to offer that service and come in and help you guys do a total data protection. We do offer mutable storage as well. So that's some of the things that, a lot of buzzwords coming around, mutable storage. So now you're up in the cloud, let's make it immutable. We have those products up there. Clean room type stuff as well. Ransomware, how to recover from ransomware. Those are the things that we can kind of do. So sorry, I'm just rambling right now.
Coin operated. Okay, guys, I think those are it for the questions. So again, just in summary, we provide, as KELYN Technologies, we provide robust, comprehensive solutions for data management, data protection, and including migration from VMware to AWS and other platforms like we talked about, really making us an ideal partner for your business. You can trust us to help deliver seamless, efficient, cost-effective migration and data management services. We will, again, I thank everybody for their time. We will follow up with an email for those who attended and those who weren't able to make it. We do have this QR code here in the bottom left. If you guys take out your phone and scan it, it brings you our website where this webinar and other content. We also have another blog around VMware to AWS migrations. All that content will be available there. Yeah, you'll get to see an email follow-up from us here in the next day or so, I believe, as well. But again, thank you, Nick. Appreciate the couple pigeonhole jokes and your time.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. Sorry, I always want to say that, Tom.
Like and subscribe,
And
smash that like button.
follow us on LinkedIn, guys. I do pull out some good parody videos on stuff, and put some good out there. So if you guys hit me up on LinkedIn, then let us know, man.
All right. Thank you again, sir. Appreciate everybody else's time. We look forward to touching base with you all in the very near future. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Nick.